Hello, you beautiful lot, and welcome to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 194, the second part of a series where I'm back to America looking at some bourbons and ryes, and this time it's a rye, Sazerac Rye, produced at Buffalo Trace there. This one bottled at 45%. It's a straight rye, so what do we know about that? Well, we know that there's no colour added. We actually know that if we go back, if we dip into this one, if you do a bit of research, this one's actually matured for at least 6 years. Not bad, not bad. And it's a mash bill of, is it 51% rye? Well, it has to be 51% rye to be a rye, of course. It's 30, one of those 35%, 35% corn, 50% malt, something like that. Something like that. I'm sure somebody will correct me, or it will come to me during the process of this review. If it doesn't, etc. So as I said, yes, Sazerac. This one I picked up for, I got this on sale, I think. I think this came in around the £27 mark. I seen it for, and I just picked it up whenever I seen it. Although, it seems now, I've been looking, and it seems to be creeping up again. So it's the 30, even 30 to £45 mark. So it's creeping up there. Although 45%, you know, as I said, straight rye, so no colour added. Yeah, you know, there's a bit of quality there. Put it like that. Put it like that. Let's get in before I end up digging a hole for myself. It's quite light and tight at first. I do like ryes. It's not the sort of thing I reach for all the time, but I do like them. Quite light and tight. Although orange, there's a strong orange and caramel and orange playing through that. Definitely. And also dried apricot. You slice a piece of dried apricot. Poof, there. Yes, definitely. It's an almost winey nose, but very, very approachable. Very approachable, very likeable. Mint and menthol. And they happily sit alongside custard powder. And I'm going to say glacé cherries. For a rye, which rye can have an awful lot of notes that don't tend to sit very well. This sits very well with me. All that orange and apricot and glacé cherry and mint and menthol and all play perfectly well together. Let's get into the palate, shall we? Quite a delicate, sweet and sour arrival, and even a hint of bitterness in there. Coats quite well. Very rye-like. There's all those familiar notes that if you know your ryes, all those familiar notes start to come almost immediately on the palate. It's that spiciness, the white pepper, cinnamon. Hints of anise, aniseed. Vanilla and caramel, once again. Orange, yes. Apricot and caramel, yes, again. I really like this one. Just for the money, this is bang on. Especially at £27 a bottle. When you know that it's bottled at 45%, when you know that it's spent 6 years at least in a cask, when you know that there's no colour added, there's a very definite amount of integrity going on, as we would tend to call it. It might be considered by some a cheap rye just because of that price level. For me, I don't care if it's at the right price and it's tasty like this is. I personally don't care. This to me is a good one. Finishing out now. That finish does tend to go a bit dry, but it's something that it's dry. There's that hint of licorice, which I expect a bit from rye. It's something that I've come to expect. So I'm not going to really count this out just based on that. I personally think this is a good one, a good representative of rye whiskey. I'm not going to add water in this occasion. I did during my tasting notes. I don't tend to add an awful lot of water. A little like my last series based on cheap blends, inexpensive blends. I didn't add water there. I don't tend to add an awful lot of water to American whiskies, bourbons, rye, etc. because to me, they don't tend to hold up very well to it. They just go a bit wishy-washy. This, when I added water during my tasting notes, became a little oaky. That orange started to override everything else. It just didn't do an awful lot for it, put it like that. So I wouldn't add water to this personally, and I'll not be adding water during this review. But just, you know, as I said, at £27, if you get it around that, even 30, 35, yeah, starts to creep above that, starting to push the limit a little, I would suggest. But it's a good rye. It's actually a good, what I would consider supermarket rye. So if you see it on offer all day long, pick one up. Pick one up, definitely. I think it is a very, very good representation of rye for the price. For the price. So there. Let's leave that one and move on, shall we? So, yes, I do. I like it as a good representative. I like it. It's a good comparative rye. What would I recommend, therefore, to you? Well, I softened out. I've softened out in this. I don't have an awful lot of ryes in my collection currently. As a matter of fact, I think I've got another one. So I'm just going to go, and this is me, I suppose, cheating a little. What else then do I think is a great representation, a good comparative rye? And I'm going to have to use a bit of magic again, because it's a bottle that is my favourite rye, but to date, and still my favourite rye, but I still haven't replaced. Why? Because so many whiskies. And it's a whiskey, it's a rye that I love, but just haven't got around to replacing. It is this one. The Lot 40 rye. Canadian rye. Canada, quite well known for their ryes. Lot 40 I've raved about. I continue to rave about. Any time I speak to a Canadian, a Canadian whiskey enthusiast, they tend to say to me, we can't get access to the good Irish whiskies, we can't get access to the great Scotch whiskies, etc. And I say to them, we can't get access to the great Canadian ryes, the great Canadian whiskies, the Lot 40s, the shelter points. They just don't make their way to these shores. Lot 40, yes, we can get the sort of standard release, but the cask strengths, the different maturity, we don't get. And I've tried them in sample form, and they're fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So look, if you've bought a bottle of Sazerac Rye, you've seen it in the supermarket, you've went, do you know, I'll pick that up. It's a nice looking bottle, and I do. It's a great. Yet again, bottles don't really matter to me. This is a great pouring bottle. It's actually one of the best pouring bottles I've ever had. this is one of those never spill a drop, never run down the neck bottles. I don't know what sort of magic it takes to make a bottle this shape, but more of them should be using it. So if you've bought this, you've enjoyed it, you fancy something, you rise your thing, something's, lot 40 from Canada. And it's absolutely fantastic as rye goes. It really is. Take my word for it. Let's get rid of that. Sazerac Rye. Yep. Love it. For what it is. Once again, remember there's an awful lot of things have to be taken into this. There's always a lot of things get taken into consideration by me when I give you my views on a whiskey. It's not just the bottle. It's not that. It's all about. I don't care what the bottle looks like. I don't care if the cork's nice or if etc. It's about what's inside. This, yes, fair enough. I say I don't care. I'll go look. If it adds to it, fair enough. Price along with quality. There. Price and quality together. Price and quality. Right price for the quality of what you're getting. There. That's what I mean. So you're getting what you paid for. It's that simple. I enjoyed this. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to my patrons. I'll be back next time. Sorry, I slipped on there. Apologies, patrons. Thank you very much to my patrons. If you wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below, and I will leave a little link up here to a video just a little more about my patronage. Apologies, guys. Apologies. But thank you all for joining me. I'll be back next time with something else from America. Until then, look after yourselves. Here's your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.